The waiter's smile froze on his face, pen hovering over his notepad, as my grandson Jake's voice carried across the bustling Italian restaurant. "You're paying for everyone's meal. You got that promotion, right, Grandpa?" 23 pairs of eyes swiveled toward me. My entire extended family, children, grandchildren, in-laws, and even my brother-in-law's new girlfriend, sat around the 3 tables we'd pushed together, their faces bright with expectation. The candlelight flickered across their eager expressions, and I felt my throat constrict. I hadn't gotten the promotion. At 72 years old, I'd spent the last 6 months working as a part-time consultant at Henderson & Associates, hoping to supplement my retirement income and stay mentally sharp. The senior consultant position would have meant better pay, more respect, and proof that I still had something valuable to offer. But yesterday, they'd given it to Marcus Chen, a sharp 40-year-old who'd been with the company half as long as I'd been alive. "Well, I started, but my daughter-in-law Rebecca was already waving over the waiter. "We'll start with 3 orders of the calamari, 2 Caesar salads, and oh, bring us a bottle of your best Chianti," she beamed at me. "We're celebrating tonight." My wife Martha reached under the table and squeezed my hand. She knew, of course she knew. 50 years of marriage meant she could read the defeat in my shoulders the moment I'd walked through the door yesterday evening, but she'd said nothing, waiting for me to find the words. 3 steaks medium rare, my son David announced, pointing to himself, his brother Tom, and Jake. "Dad's buying, so we're going premium." The weight of the moment pressed down on me like a physical force. I could feel my pension statement in my wallet, could mentally calculate the damage this dinner would do. Martha and I had been careful, so careful, making our retirement savings stretch. This meal would cost what we budgeted for groceries for 2 weeks. I should have spoken up then, should have said something, but looking around the table at faces I loved, faces that saw me as strong, capable, the family patriarch who always had things under control, the words stuck in my throat like broken glass. "Grandpa, tell them about the promotion," Jake urged, his 20-year-old face shining with pride. "Tell them what you told me last month about showing those young guys how it's done." I had said that, hadn't I? Full of confidence and bravado, certain that my decades of experience would speak for themselves. Now those words felt like ashes. "Yes, Dad, we want to hear everything," Rebecca pressed, her phone already out, probably ready to post about it on social media. The waiter returned with the wine, making a show of presenting the bottle. I glimpsed the price list on his pad, $85. My stomach churned. "Actually," Martha said suddenly, her voice cutting through the chatter, "before we order, I need to say something." The table quieted. My wife stood, still elegant at 70, her silver hair catching the light. She looked at me with such love and understanding that I felt tears prick my eyes. "Your grandfather didn't get the promotion," she said simply. The silence that followed was deafening. I watched Jake's face fall, saw David and Tom exchange confused glances, noticed Rebecca's hand freeze on her phone. "They gave it to someone younger," Martha continued, her hand still holding mine. "And your grandfather has been carrying that disappointment alone because he didn't want to let any of you down." "Mom," David started, but Martha held up her hand. "Let me finish. We can't afford this dinner. We've been stretching our retirement to make ends meet, and frankly, we came tonight because we thought it would be a normal family dinner, not a celebration that we'd be expected to fund." I'd never loved my wife more than in that moment. She'd done what I couldn't, told the truth, even when it was humiliating, even when it shattered the image everyone had of us as the stable, financially secure grandparents. Jake's face had gone pale. "Grandpa, I'm so sorry, I just assumed. You seemed so confident, and I wanted everyone to know how awesome you are." "It's not your fault, son," I managed, finding my voice at last. "I should have corrected you immediately. I was just embarrassed." Tom pushed back his chair and came around the table, wrapping me in a hug that reminded me of when he was 10 years old and had struck out in the championship baseball game. I'd held him then while he cried, telling him that failure was part of life, that it didn't define his worth. Now he was holding me, and I realized I'd forgotten my own lesson. "Dad," David said quietly, "why didn't you tell us you needed help?" "Because I'm supposed to be the one helping you," I said, the admission costing me everything. "I'm your father, your grandfather. I'm supposed to have all the answers, to be the safety net." "That's not how family works," Rebecca said, and there were tears in her eyes. "You've spent decades being our safety net. Let us be yours." The waiter approached tentatively, clearly unsure how to handle the emotional scene unfolding at table 12. David waved him over. "We'll split the check," he announced, "evenly among all the adults." "No," Jake interjected. "I'm paying for Grandpa and Grandma's meals. This was my mistake, and I have money saved from my summer job." "We'll all chip in," Tom's wife Sarah added. "Family dinner means everyone contributes." I looked around the table at these people, my legacy, my love, my life's greatest achievement, and felt something shift inside me. I'd spent so long trying to be invincible that I'd forgotten the strength in vulnerability, the grace in accepting help. "Thank you," I whispered. We ordered modestly after that, no premium steaks, no expensive wine, but the meal tasted better than any celebration dinner could have. Because somewhere between the admission of failure and the acceptance of help, I'd found something more valuable than any promotion. The understanding that my worth wasn't measured in job titles or bank accounts, but in the love surrounding me. As we prepared to leave, Jake pulled me aside. "Grandpa, I've been thinking about what you told me, about showing the young guys how it's done. You did that tonight. How do you figure? You showed us how to be honest when things are hard, how to accept love and help. That takes more courage than any business success." He grinned. "That's pretty badass for a 72-year-old. I laughed, really laughed, for the first time in days. Maybe I hadn't gotten the promotion, and maybe my pride had taken a beating, but I was going home with something better. A family that loved me not for what I could provide, but for who I was. And that, I realized, was the real promotion all along.